crisis in Myanmar. I know that you've been following that very closely, and you can also see that Indonesia and Myanmar sort of share a similar history, being under military rule for quite a while. What would be your solution to the situation in Myanmar?
Yes, firstly, the government of Myanmar has promised themselves to be committed to the seven-step roadmap to democracy. And Indonesia, as a friend of Myanmar, as a member of ASEAN, has to support Myanmar to complete that roadmap. Of course, Myanmar issue is becoming an international issue now, and next month we will have ASEAN summit in Singapore, and we will sign a new charter of ASEAN. I do hope, as the hope of other ASEAN leaders, that Myanmar will be on board. Myanmar will also create on the long term of ASEAN with its basic values, that respect for human rights and democratic values. I see the problems in Myanmar are complex. Not only the political, Myanmar is also facing the security issues, separatist movement, the poverty problem. So we need a holistic approach. We need comprehensive solution for Myanmar. When I met Professor Ibrahim Gambari, when he visited me here in this office, I told him that I support his effort. He is a good man with a fair judgment, and he is, I believe, trusted by both sides. And I recently wrote a letter to Senior General Tan Sui to receive Professor Ibrahim Gambari again on his second visit to Myanmar, and I'm glad that now Professor Ibrahim Gambari has returned to Myanmar.
What's your reaction to the fact that clearly Megawati has allowed the PDIP to vote against you like this in the Parliament?
Yeah, that's her device of letting the steam out of the party. So now the steam has been out, and it's okay. But she said through a messenger to me that last night that she will not entertain any kind of special session of MPR.
So no impeachment?
No, no impeachment.
And you still believe that the Vice President is fully behind you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, she's always behind me.
Okay.
Just ask her.
If violence, which is starting, does erupt around the country, and if you lost the trust of the people because of that, would you then resign?
No. That thing will never happen. That's what you think so. But I know that it will never happen.
Will you call your people out on the streets to show the support you have?
Not to the street, no. Letters, statements on the press, many things can be done without putting people into the streets. You see, a few days ago, I prevented 35,000 people coming to Jakarta to burn the MPR building. Crazy, you know.
If this gets out of control, violence-wise, and it can happen very easily, it's very dangerous right now.
I don't talk in ifs.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So
I believe I can handle the matter.
And then we keep hearing about mysterious dark forces in Indonesia, etc. Who do you think was behind this spate of Christmas bombings? What was their motivation?
Well, let's say the extremists. I don't name names.
Extremists. The information links or seems to lead back to sections of the military again.
When you mean section is informal guys, yes. But sections is it's conducted by the formally by the hierarchy, no.
And what do you think is their motivation for such a terrible act?
Well, they would like to maintain status quo. They would like their own presence in the government and so forth. Because they are deprived from, let's say, offices they think they are entitled to.
So former ministers of government?
Former ministers, former generals, former everything. But I can say to you that several people you have in mind should not be accused without any, let's say, lawful evidences.
How much?
General Wiranto, and then General Hartono, and then General Prabowo. It's easy to accuse them because they did, wrong things in the past, but not in this. I know this. I know this exactly.
Looking back on your administration, you were actually responsible for many of the freedoms of expression, of assembly, that Indonesians enjoy to this day. How do you think this has helped to shape Indonesian society today?
The Indonesian society has opened the door of freedom. And it is really a necessity to get that in a global society of the world. Globalization is an approach to freedom, of the people, and you cannot isolate yourself within that global process.
Are you not worried, though, about a resurgence of communal violence?
No, I'm not worried. If, for example, the demonstration today, and it will be increased, it is a demonstration which is understandable, because the world economy today is in the global globalization process is more unpredictable than ever. This is caused because the unpredictability of the price of oil. It depends on, there are too many speculation and too many distortion globally. And because of that, the answer to that is like in just like in Indonesia, to decouple yourself from the price of oil by subsidizing the oil price. But of course, we all know that it is not so easy, but you have to go in that direction. Not only Indonesia, all the other countries has to do that.
Mr. President, you had said before that these demonstrations were being supported by foreign aid and foreign forces. Have you had any proof of that?
Yes. Cindy, yes.
Would you care to tell us what foreign forces?
No.
Well, at least I asked. And how long will General Suharto's authority be given him?
As soon as peace and quiet have been secured again, then my order to General Suharto will end, will finish.
And his authority does not lead towards world opinions or towards world business. It's just to take care of the peace and security of the home front.
The opinion among the Nekolim, about us, is all wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. So anything, what happens here, they always abroad, they give wrong interpretations.
Well, it's still going on, even though you threw out the American correspondents. Do you think it helps your getting rid of them?
I know, for example, that one American correspondent abroad, not here, because I have expelled them already from here. He said that I am ailing, and that about 22 ministers have been arrested. True?
I have also heard that you were under house arrest and that you attempted to commit suicide as well.
Why should I commit suicide? I love life,
I know.
I love life. Why should I commit suicide? Oh.
Will you be doing anything perhaps about the other student demand, about changing your cabinet?
Look here, in any country there are currents who are not satisfied or content with the ministers. You know, even in your country, not everybody is pro-Johnson. In the Philippines, not everybody is pro-Marcos or pro this minister or pro that minister. Japan, India, everywhere. So I'm not worrying about that.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I'm not worrying about that.